This is the Mobile Tech Podcast, brought to you by worldpodcasts.com. Now here's your host, Tech Girl, Miriam Joie.
Hi, and welcome to the Mobile Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Miriam Joie, and today is Wednesday, January 10th, 2018, and we're at CES, and I'm surrounded by the most amazing bunch of folks. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. This is going to be a raucous, crazy podcast, probably about an hour long, and we're going to talk about everything we liked and didn't like at CES. We've got some topics. There's more going on still, but I think we can say that the CES is pretty much in the can for most of us.
Mostly.
I think that's fair to say. So, we've got a couple more important things.
All right, So who wants to start? Nicole.
Oh, yes.
Nicole Scott is here of Mobile Geeks. Hi, Nicole.
Hello. I wasn't prepared to start,
That's
but yeah.
okay, I'm sorry. You can go back to whatever you were doing. Jaime.
Jaime Rivera, Pocketnow. So good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being on, Nick.
Nick Ray, High Tech Traveler.
Hey, Nick. All of you guys have been on my podcast except for Jules.
Well, yeah, I'm with Jaime, Jules Wang, Pocketnow.
But hey, you haven't been on, so it's your first time.
Hello to the person that is listening to this. I sound horrible, but...
You sound great.
No, you sound great,
Don't
Jules.
just sell yourself short.
Michael, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Michael Fisher, a.k.a. Mr. Mobile, and I'm so happy to do the show live.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Very
So, you guys know the topics. I'm going to go one by one, and we're going to start talking about it. First of all, let's talk about some ground rule type things. What was the theme for CES in your opinion so far?
Someone asked me this the other day on the floor, and it was really hard to sum it up because there's rehashes, there's some new important stuff, there's a lot of stuff that's never going to make it to the market. It's like, what's the theme? It's CES again is the theme. You know what I mean?
No, I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I think that the theme was personal assistants are now in everything.
Yes.
Fair.
To me,
Have you seen the monorail?
yeah.
Google
Hey,
is
Google.
here.
Everyone used to have
everyone.
an app, and now everyone has an AI assistant that's in our product right now, and you can go get it.
True. To me, the theme was Google Assistant, all the things.
Yeah.
Basically, specifically Google Assistant.
Yeah.
And Alexa's going to show up in weirder places than she did before.
Yeah. Well, and there was
And
a
try to sell you
handful-
diapers and a couple of other things.
50th Street
like-
subway station.
Or get you pregnant.
Oh, yeah. At the 50th Street subway station.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just finished tagging everyone in this Instagram
Oh, awesome.
post.
That's cool. Yeah, you guys can
Sorry.
document away. We've got an
going.
agreement that AI and assistants are kind of a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that's
Yeah.
pretty much it?
Buzzwords.
What is the thing that you felt stuck out and in either good or bad way that you felt was really like the thing of the show?
From a phone perspective?
Well, not just anything.
Yeah.
Because, CES, I can't just be mobile tech. I have
Right.
to be pretty broad. But yes, phones, of course.
Yeah, but see, I feel like every time I come away from CES, it's usually like, well, it's a mid-range phone show, and they had a couple things
Well,
and whatever.
Sony certainly proved that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you wanted to jump to this yet, but the thing that will absolutely touch every single phone that launches from here on out is that under-display fingerprint sensor that most of us have gotten a chance to play with from the Synaptics. What are they calling it? Clear Touch, Clear ID.
Clear ID. And it's such a small thing. It's such
a tiny little sensor.
No, well, not even parts wise, that's great and too. But it's such a tiny conceptual thing because we've been talking about this on the iPhone 10, and
It's been nearly 3 years.
Yeah,
since
Touch
we've been
ID.
hearing
Where the hell is it
companies
going to be?
experimenting with this.
And with this, this was the big thing that we missed out on the 10, and no one has brought yet. Why Vivo? This is the company that is kind of related to Oppo and kind of related to OnePlus 2.
Yeah, it's weird because Vivo is a top 5 smartphone manufacturer
In China.
by volume, right? But they're top 5
Southeast Asia.
in shipments
Southeast
in
Asia.
the world, aren't they? Right?
Well, I think they can iterate quickly as far as getting products out. And when we were there, I was talking to the PR lady, and she was saying they've been working with Vivo for a while, with prototyping for a device. So that's why I think Vivo was. But as you said, it's not really a device; it's a component that's going to be changing all of the devices in the coming year.
And I think,
Let's hope.
Yeah, exactly, because it actually works really well. We all know the product demos that are kind of janky and it's this is pre-production, this will work better later. But this was great. You pick up the phone, It projects that little fingerprint graphic on the display. You drop your thumb on it, and it takes about half again as long.
So I still need to go to it. But was it a production phone?
Yeah.
Is this a
Yeah.
real?
It doesn't have a name, but it's a production phone.
But it's going to ship in the second quarter?
Pretty much.
Yeah, Q2. I think they're going to do the full announcement of the phone itself at MWC.
And if you've seen the OnePlus 5T, you're looking at it.
It's a little bigger than that.
Larger,
It's
yeah.
making all the phones the same.
But the design is a little bit different though. Like the back has a different feel to it, so it's not. But like the basic specs are going to be the same.
Yeah, but like Vivo, Oppo, and OnePlus are all from the same factory,
Same
right?
mother
So
company,
they basically have the same design set to
Just
work
walk
from.
across the block and they're there.
No,
it's the same block.
They're literally using the
same
same factory. Yeah, literally.
Okay.
But it's not the phone, right? That people. I mean, the phone is because it's the first one we get to play with. Like, that's why it's important at the moment. But I'm just so looking forward to seeing what phones are possible when a manufacturer doesn't have to say, add in a bigger bezel on the bottom for a thumbprint sensor on the front, or move it around back and sacrifice battery space, or do whatever Samsung did.
Is
with
the
its
aesthetics
placement.
game just bezel down, bezel down, bezel down at this point? Because
pretty much.
Dude, look at the iPhone 10, man.
Yes.
I mean, what more example do you want? That's the way things are going.
Look at Xiaomi's MIIX phones. They're even less than the iPhone.
Right.
I mean, it's cool, and you get it's more immersive, and the user experience is exponentially better, in my opinion. But it's just that's where we're going in terms of just looks of smartphones, and where else can we go?
It's not just the looks, though. This is the thing, the usability thing. Has anyone ever been trying to train maybe a parent or a grandparent to use an iPhone or an Android phone? And the first thing they do is when that thumbprint,
They put
their thumb right on the screen where the thumbprint thing is,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, that's not how. It's the sensor. But
That
now it
is
will be
so
that.
true.
It
That
will be
is
that.
so true.
Right?
Oh my god.
That's going to make it so just that little bit easier for people.
I'm
to get.
looking forward to seeing phones this year, and I've talked about this on the podcast last year at the end, kind of reminiscing 2017. Is I really think we're going to see all the big players come out with a Face ID competitor, because anybody who's used it for any duration of time agrees. At least I think it changes the game.
Yeah.
It's like continuous authentication. If you don't look at it, it stops authenticating. You can pass the phone to a friend. They're screwed. They can't see anything. I think to me
Depends if the friend
it's
looks like
actively it's actively authenticating. Well, yeah, there is that. But I mean, I'm trying to say that I think that I also want the fingerprint.
I would like
So
both.
to me,
exactly.
I'm expecting
I prefer the fingerprint.
like the S9, for example. It'd be amazing if they can do Face ID as good as Apple, as reliable, and it can be used for Google Pay. And it's now called Google Pay. Oh,
Well,
God.
what Samsung's going to do, they're going to do
And
a
then the
fingerprint
fingerprint
sensor
on the screen.
On the screen, they're going to do Retina. They're going to do Face ID.
Yeah, they're going to throw everything out.
And
I don't want them to do
Four-factor authentication.
and you have to authenticate all four.
It's going to be
in
neighbor
order to
ID.
get it.
It never worked, Retina, for most people.
No, it didn't. It was so picky as to.
So here's
the iris scanner.
Yeah.
Right?
So here's the thing. In the case of the iris scanner, I guess I was okay with the iris scanner until I started using Face ID. Now every time I pull out the Note 8 and I try to use the iris scanner, I'm so used to the concept of not having to align my face in a specific way to have it work.
I mean, look, it's
That's
there.
fair.
It's like,
And I just don't deal with that
Done.
anymore with the iPhone.
Yep.
You know? And so I guess I'm spoiled by the iPhone 10, so much so that I don't know what the future of the iris scanner will be.
Nicole's like, what the hell are you guys talking
I'm
about?
not, yeah, what the hell are you guys talking about? With the stupid Note 8, I'm reading my notifications, I'm like, oh, the stupid thing opened again. Right?
I didn't want to do that.
You have to align your eyes.
You guys are like, oh, it's so annoying. And I'm like, it's so annoying that it's unlocking my phone.
It works out. Oh, no.
So, not to rain on the parade of the synaptic sensor, but I actually had a little bit of hard time actually using it because it is so small. Mm-hmm. And you don't have the physical alignment of a metal ring where you're putting your finger on,
that's a
on
good
the back
point.
of the
Yeah,
That's a good
there's
point.
no.
and you have to push a little bit harder to get your finger to align with, or
That's
so
to-
it reads it more.
Yeah.
You have to flatten it against
yeah.
the glass because it's optical. It's
Yeah.
not
It's a
capacitive.
5.8 millimeter by 5.8
Yeah.
millimeter square, and they're using the OLED light to refract the image data from the print down to the sensor. So it's kind of a fussy little thing.
So I asked the rep there, and she said they can make the sensor larger so that you have a larger area, and you could technically put in multiples. So you could put one at the bottom, you could put one in the middle. It's all up to the OEM how they want to implement it.
Sure.
If the OEM asks
Cover
for a
the
larger
phone.
sensor,
Yeah,
and
the
that's
whole
that's
thing.
what I was saying. I was like, can't you just have one the whole bottom half of the phone?
Well, diminishing
you touch
returns.
anywhere there.
Yeah, but then
Wouldn't that cost a lot?
Money,
Yeah.
money, exactly.
And what's crazy is you can actually see it. Jaime and I were talking about it right
Yeah.
before the podcast. Like if you angle the phone just right,
Yeah.
The
you
macro,
can see
you can
the
see
sensor
it.
sitting under the OLED. But when you fire up the display and get
It's
a macro
gone.
macro shot right on it,
You can't see it.
a
Only
thing.
when the display is
People
off.
have
It's
been
incredible.
suggesting cameras, like the selfie camera should be under there, or like any
yeah.
other sensor that you want under the display. And
Well, if you think about it, it's an optical sensor. So
Yeah.
what limits the selfie camera to fit there in the future? I mean,
Well, you just have to.
just can't be lit.
But it has to peek between the pixels.
It has to
is the
peek
problem.
between the pixels, and then you have to pull out that data between
It's
those
amazing
pixels.
to me that
You
it's
can do it.
optical. Like, most of the touch sensors we use, fingerprint sensors, are capacitive,
Yeah.
high resolution capacitive. And to me, that they managed to make it work optically through a screen, and the lens issue. Try, how do you focus the light properly?
Well, there's no lens at all. It's
No, I know, that's my
it's
point.
just the
But that's-
sensor
it's just
itself.
the
but that's the
sensor?
thing. Touch
Yeah.
ID has always been optical. So
Yeah, Touch ID. is not
Touch ID is
Touch
optical.
ID has always been
Yeah.
optical. Everybody else did
okay.
capacitive, but Touch ID was always a camera.
Well, in the Apple patent I
Fascinating.
saw that it was like they was using the bouncing off method. It was using the pixels going back up and then bouncing it down to the center again. So I mean, I don't know.
I
This
just remember that I forgot to remove my fingerprint from the demo unit.
Yeah, so did I.
so
I'm fingerprint number 5.
All right, so should we move on to another topic? So the Vivo thing is definitely the thing that we're most amazed with.
I love
haven't
it.
seen it yet, but I'm pretty excited.
Go look at it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that stands out?
Oh my god, that Razer project.
Okay, let's talk about that next.
I'm
Jaime,
sorry. I'm
you're
sorry.
it.
Like, so I had to download old footage from Michael's previous reviews on the Pad phone. On
Yes.
We've been covering so
We've
many.
been covering this forever.
yeah,
We've been covering this forever. The whole concept of your smartphone being more powerful. And, I guess my biggest problem with things like DeX is how much it costs to get in. It's like, and then you need a monitor, plus a mouse, plus a keyboard, and your mobility just goes completely down the drain right there. I like the concept of the Pad phone because it was still a mobile product. It was just a different form factor. But Android was just not ready. And so, I mean, when I saw Project Linda, I just walked in, I was like, is that a trackpad with speakers? And they're like, no, it's the Razer phone. I'm like, you're kidding me. I thought it was genius. Just the placement of where it is and the whole concept.
Well, I've always said that somebody needs to replace the trackpad of a laptop with a phone, and I guess that's what they did.
Yeah, and the only thing that it's missing is for the phone to vibrate the moment you press things, because
There's no haptic
Oh,
feedback.
there's no haptic feedback,
Yeah,
and so
true.
I found myself all the time just trying to press the damn screen, and it's
Why
a
don't
it
they?
feels
Why
odd
don't they have
as-
that? They have a vibration motor.
well, it's still a
They-
concept, and I
They
guess
said
that,
at least 6 months before it hits the
and,
market.
and it's so far off. But the problem is, I would buy the product just as it is, without whatever it is that they want to add.
So-
they want it to be a touch screen. They want they want dual screen functionality. I don't care about those things.
Right.
I want that thing to be a laptop whenever I want it to be, and for the phone to sit there
So
and that's it. That
for-
would be me.
For the listeners who haven't seen it, and they might have seen it on various covers that you guys did, but what does it look like? Basically, the trackpad is replaced by
It's
the
a
phone,
Razer
and then
Stealth.
it still has
It's a Razer
So
Stealth.
it still has the keyboard and the display and everything.
It's the
With
same,
Chroma
essentially
keyboard,
the same
the rainbow
chassis.
yeah,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
That's all there.
Everything.
And does it have hardware acceleration for graphics then?
No.
Not yet.
USB-C,
Yeah.
Thunderbolt
It's
3.
still pure.
All it
Arduino.
has is and they gave you the information. I saw your video. They gave you information on storage. They
Yeah.
didn't give me anything.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
got
like-
a
there's
big, it's
storage
got
in
a
it?
56 watt-hour battery and then 200 gigs of additional storage.
Oh, nice.
Which is
Yeah.
great to
USB, yeah.
keep the phone going, and
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why the haptics, because the phone itself would be vibrating. Because if you take the phone out of it, it's just a pit, and otherwise it'd be shaking in the pit. It'd be vibrating in the pit, and it would and there's a
can we call
moving
it-
part too with the USB-C.
Shaking in the
Can we call this
Shaking
podcast
in the
Shaking in the Pit?
Yes. Shaking in the-
It's what we call it's Razer moshing is what we're calling it. But there's also
and no banging on the table. Too.
Exactly. USB, but that USB-C port, you press the button and it, inserts it in to the phone.
And it's got this really
that's a
cool
moving part.
drilling noise. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
That
going to
little
bring
tiny
that up
motor,
too.
yeah.
I think that's so smart because I don't think I necessarily would have thought of that. But that you hit the button, the USB-C port the port goes into the connector, and then you can turn the thing upside down, and the phone's going to stay in there.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the phone goes right to the edge, and there's a gap in the casing. So to sign in, you just drop your thumb on the fingerprint sensor because
on
it
the side.
sticks out the side.
Yeah.
It's so thoughtfully designed.
That is amazing.
I ripped it out.
You rip the phone out
Yeah,
of
I was like, oh, you just bought, and it was fine.
Oh,
Right, so I was like, oh, la la la, and then I was like, oh, this isn't working anymore, and then I realized that I actually like
You just yanked the phone out?
the phone right out.
Did you break the connector?
No,
Wow.
no, and I didn't. Afterwards, I was like wiggling things around, and I'm like, no, everything's fine.
that's why my dad's. You're Susie, my dad's here. This is good.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we saw it, we were talking to the product engineer that they only brought a handful of them here that he had like personally put together. And he was saying the thing that he
Out of
was
wood
most
glue.
worried about was not the press breaking them, but the other people that are here at CES. But of course, Nicole would be the one that yanked it out.
Well, if the Razer PR folks are listening, I still need my review unit, number one.
Same here.
And number
Same.
two,
Same here.
Nicole broke the thing.
No,
Well,
I didn't break it.
No, but listen, I feel
Blue
I'm
screen
hoping, you know, if Huawei is going to do their thing with the Mate 10 so that you can use it as a computer. I mean, if Samsung is going to do it, I hope that Razer goes beyond just having this be a concept and price it aggressively. I mean, if they told me that the whole package of the Razer phone plus this thing would cost me $1,000, I'd pay for it.
Would you?
I'd go for
Like,
it.
rather than buying just like an
Like a
$800
Chromebook.
really good laptop
Yeah.
that can do a lot
It's
of
just,
stuff.
well, think about it. I mean,
Well, you get your phone too.
Think about it. So
Yeah.
the biggest problem with Chromebooks is just how bad they launch Android apps. It's
yeah, I mean, it's
This-
rough.
I-
I'm not talking about Chrome. You can get a PC for $799.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it
for 400.
$400.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to. I wouldn't think.
Well, it would do
Maybe.
more than the Razer phone
Exactly.
would.
Yes.
And here's the
Pretty much
thing:
anything will do more.
we go back to Android, and you know how prepared it is for this kind of
Well, and they
multitasking.
actually had
it's
this-
not. It's still not. I
Yes,
think.
agreed.
Fuchsia.
They had a custom launcher, you know.
Well,
to-
that's
to
fair,
pretty
but
much
I still say
behave.
Fuchsia is the way to go here. If
Dude.
they're merging,
Dude, we don't even know what Fuchsia is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
no, wait,
Yeah.
that's
we
right.
don't know.
No, but
I've
that,
seen
that's
the
a-
armadillo. Outfit.
No, but that's a really good point that was raised when I was in there. There was just a bunch of people bouncing around talking questions and stuff. It's like, wow, in 2 or 3 years, maybe, when that confluence happens, this could be a really compelling product. Until then, it's like, it's a really well-executed Atrix again.
Yeah, and
That's the
what
biggest
happened-
issue I have.
Yeah.
The issue I have is Razer is new to the smartphone market. How many devices have they sold? And they're creating a device that only works for their unique phone. So I was talking to Sean last night about this. Like, you have maybe 50,000 phones sold. Your maximum market share or maximum sales for this product is maximum 50,000. If 100% of your Razer phone owners buy this, that's not a, like, it's an engineer's product. It's not a company's marketing, like, this is how we're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, someone came up with this idea and said, we could do this. And yeah, it's great, but how are you going to sell it? Who are you going to sell it to?
Yeah.
Are we sure it's really going to come out in mass volume and not just like, oh, we got like what Asus did with the pad, but they put 10,000 units out and they're like, real product.
But Asus has, like, markets of scale, and they're like 50,000 times bigger than Razer.
No, but like legit, Asus just like made shit up.
Yeah.
Like remember the e keyboard?
But they make shit up all the time.
Right.
Like, they have money to
Yeah.
burn too.
Oh, sure.
The Razer has a track record of doing this at CES. Like, CES, right, is the
Yes.
show where they're like, here's
Yeah.
this crazy
Crazy
thing.
thing.
And
Yeah.
what
Remember
do you
that
think?
tiny little keyboard PDA thing
Yeah.
they did? Like,
Oh, no.
What was it
I
called
remember
at
the
CS
three
a few years
the
ago?
three-screen laptop is the one.
There's
I
that
remember.
too.
that
Valerie.
guy,
Oh
that
my
all the
God.
prototypes got stolen.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Right
Oh,
after
yeah,
the,
yes.
the show,
Right,
during
right.
but
move out or
remember they
something.
Yeah,
did there's
during
this
move out.
tiny clamshell
Wow.
PDA Windows machine a few years back with like
Razer build?
the
Yeah.
keys had like OLED screens in them.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I
It was
remember.
a few years
yes.
ago.
Yes, I remember
yeah, I
that.
remember that. It was
Like,
years
all
ago.
the keys were OLED screens.
That, I
And you
suggested
could
that for the,
reprogram-
new, for the next BlackBerry.
You can reprogram it all. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
great.
But that makes sense in gaming world because you can control whatever the heck you want. I don't see, as it is with Android and with that kind of screen, I don't see it. I don't see where the target is.
Well, and that's the thing.
Their
like,
target.
This is a concept prototype thing. Will it actually be a product that
Yeah.
that will actually hit the market?
external
besides
factors will have
maybe
to
a
play into
limited
that.
Sadly,
release of
Razer's
something.
Razer's track record is zero possibilities. Every
Right.
single concept that they've brought
Yeah.
to CES has never made
Never
it. to
Never.
shipped. Yeah.
It's just a showcase to
exciting.
get us to show up at their booth, and it works every year.
works well.
Every year. I'm like,
Look at those
what
page
is
views,
there?
man.
I will not be tricked next year.
Our ad revenue is going to be way up, man. This is just great. Thank you, Razer, for helping us sustain the publications.
I
that we
have to
for.
admit, it was my favorite thing of the show.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. I
Believe
like
it or
that.
not.
I mean, I like the idea. I feel like with Android, we're not even close to the implementation.
Yeah.
of
I get it.
that.
It's just I would never be caught dead using DeX. It
Well,
just
yeah.
won't happen.
To me, honestly, the simple solution is what Huawei is doing with the Mate 10 Pro.
Agreed.
Where you just plug it into an MHL or display
Well, there
with a
was-
cable and
there
you're
was
done,
a-
right?
Yeah, but you don't need the dock for DeX. Like,
No.
the dock is an option. Like, you
The
can
dock-
plug a Samsung
Well,
phone
by-
into the TV, right?
By default, you can't. You have to like hack something to make it work.
Yeah.
No, I did
No,
it
they
at I/O.
They changed it.
They changed
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They changed it,
I
yeah.
did it at I/O
I
because I
wasn't
embarrassed
aware.
myself.
It's
We're like, oh yeah, check this out. Everyone, all Android Central guys, come in here. Let's check this out. Oh man, my keyboard search history is weird.
Yeah, that reminds me of my iPhone 4S after the Buzz video, which was mocked publicly for many reasons. Just to make you feel better, my friend.
Thanks,
you know
man.
that. You know that.
But anyway, so there's
So
that.
I'm thinking, what else stood out? Let's see. I've got
The
a bunch
rollable
of.
TV. To
Yeah,
me,
do you want to talk about that? Yeah, let's
I
do
loved
it.
it. Like, honestly, I stopped caring about making YouTube videos after I did that one. I was like, I just don't care about any other products anymore.
Really?
It
I
looks
don't.
incredible.
I actually don't think I've posted a single. Maybe after CES I'll get back to it. But I'm just like, I'm done. This is like
was
500,000 views. That's cool. That's enough.
It broke you.
Yeah, I was like, because it doesn't look like it should be able to bend. And it looks like a real TV. And
I
then
know
when
it.
it rolls up, you're like, my God, it's magic.
Magic paper.
I didn't
Oh.
see it. So for those who haven't,
Yeah. So it's
seen
so
it.
like basically, it's a 65-inch glorious television.
and if you can see Nicole, she has her hands in the air right now.
Shaking vigorously.
and then like it has tiny maybe like 1 centimeter slats on the back where you can just see them kind of like fold around.
Okay.
Right. In most demos, they don't let you. They didn't let me take off the box. But you can see it like rolling down. Actually, I think Fox News got it
So that's-
around a roll.
That's the rigid component that keeps it like.
Well,
Yeah,
so
that
then
keeps it fair and balanced.
Yeah, so it just
Nice.
rolls. It just rolls away, and
But
the plastic front. So they're like, we can't tell you what it is. It's obviously plastic 'cause it's bending.
Yeah.
Right, but like when it comes back up and you're looking at it, it doesn't look like it should be able to curve.
That's
So
Yeah,
it,
from
it
the
looks,
edges,
yeah,
it looks like it's actually tiny little slats.
Yeah.
And
Kit
then
Kat
when
bars.
it
Yeah,
rolls
that's what I saw in the
around,
pictures.
it kind of goes in around probably a pretty big spool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very controlled, the motion and the bending and but when it's
Display
flat,
doesn't
it's
even
flat.
show.
There's no waves. There's nothing. It's perfect.
And
Perfect,
the
yeah.
idea is that like it
can-
adjusts for different aspect
you
ratios.
can roll away the bars, yeah, and
Okay.
then I know like in Asia, most people I know don't have TVs because they're like ugly, right? Like your apartment is so small.
You don't
right?
want a TV
and that,
on the
like,
wall.
And if you have a big TV, it's going to be the focal point of your living, and maybe that's not
Sure.
what you want as part of your lifestyle.
Unhealthy.
It's unhealthy to have like such a big, but you like having the big TV.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well,
Right.
it's all-
Oh, so you're talking about like putting it away when
Putting
you're not
it
watching.
away.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
So it
Yeah.
goes like
I
it's
see.
it's a piece of furniture,
Right.
and so it rolls down into a piece of furniture. It's like Sony's like short throw 4K projection
Yeah.
projectors.
was
It's a
another
piece.
device,
It's a
yeah.
piece
Yeah.
of furniture. And, you have it up against the wall, and then it projects 80 inches onto the wall, and it's right on the wall.
Smart homes, more furniture.
Yeah.
I now have a projector in my place in Portland, and I have a 105-inch image. It's fantastic,
Jeez.
and I can put it away. Like it
Yeah.
just disappears.
I still
You
use
know?
the ZTS Pro 2.
Yeah.
It's so
Classic.
practical. It's perfect for karaoke.
Karaoke.
I still hate the Velcro sounds that you included in the unboxing video, though. You unwrap the wires, and then you.
I thought you were afraid of the knife that I used to unbox.
I know you can handle knives.
Have you guys tried that Anchor Nebula?
No, what is
What
that?
is that
So
even?
it's a. It wasn't even U.S. I thought the U.S. only got it.
projector?
Really, it's a projector made by Anchor,
Huh?
and it's like a little bucket. It's like I gave up my apartment and all of my worldly possessions, and it's one of the few things I own. Still, I'm like, this is so important. The UI sucks, but they're gonna update it one day.
Since we're on TVs and projectors, did anyone see the little robot at Pepcom that had Android TV projector that was
Yes,
like,
I
spinning
saw
around?
that.
No.
It
Like
was
it's a little
whacktastic.
round, like egg-shaped robot that has a projector built in that's Android TV, and it follows you around the house. Projecting TV on the wall.
Oh man, you can't even get away from it.
No, you can't. It follows you.
It's like, no, you're going to watch this commercial break.
So for the demo, they actually had two of them, like side by side, and they were like competing to where they were projecting the Android TV.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, I've been a lot of goofy little robots this show.
The Sony one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Eyeballs back, yay.
You scratch behind his ear, and he's like, "Oh, it's so cute."
There's one. I'm sorry, I don't know the actual.
How much
like
do things like that cost in Japan?
The eyeball?
Yeah,
The eyeball
I don't
used to
know.
be like $1,500.
It was
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, they're
15
stupid
years
expensive.
ago.
Yeah.
But there was that thing, that really heartwarming thing at one of the shows within the show where it's like it was the Aflac duck.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yes.
saw that.
Yeah.
It was kind of
I couldn't-
creepy, though.
But
It was that showstoppers,
I
man.
didn't go over there because I was like, that table's creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
has
that
the
was
skin
cute.
one, right?
Right?
See, I know what the deal was
Yeah.
before I went over there. It's apparently like it's intended for kids who are have like serious health problems and like need to do injections and stuff. And you can do like injections
It
on
injects
the
them after they look at it?
No,
You
like
think
they
it's
can
cute?
inject the Aflac duck or whatever like that, and it's like it's meant to like de-scarify the
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing. And then like
Empathetic kind of thing.
yeah,
going on.
right. So that they can just kind of ease into it and get more comfortable with it. At least that's what David Kogan told me. I was like, oh, I didn't expect to have to like bring my heart to CES.
David Kogan could sell you like coal.
Yeah.
And like you'd be like,
Yes,
this is
totally.
this is the thing that good kids get for Christmas. You know?
fellow co-founder of MalbecFanboys.net. Sorry, it's not time for plugs yet. Excuse me.
Okay.
What the hell were we talking about?
Wait a second, Malbec.
The Aflac duck.
The Aflac duck, and
I
before
didn't
that,
know you liked good
it
rolling.
started.
Malbec?
No, I don't know. What was the rolling
love
TV
Malbec.
that started?
Juan loves Malbec too.
No, it was Ibo that started it.
Ibo started it. That's true.
So, did anybody see any drone stuff? Can I ask?
Oh, yeah.
Is that cool? Because like
Drones.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're mobile devices.
Do it.
they are.
By themselves. You can't control them.
Yeah.
They hail death from above.
Mr. Fisher loses his, though. So.
No, they run away. But they were.
Wait, you lost one?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
My very second flight, I think.
I went stalking
Where
around
is it?
Arlington to
I said,
find that.
I said, come home. And then it thought about it, and then it went that way.
It was like you were in
And
forever.
Like on the ocean?
I have no idea. I looked for it for 3 hours with Justice.
It's like you are not my owner.
But I have a new one, and it's lovely. But I didn't see a particular drone that I liked at this show, but I saw right across the hall from where all the drones are being demoed in their cages and flying, they have this, like, super military-looking booth with these dudes in like combat fatigues and this very intimidating looking piece of equipment that looks like it's from the top of a tank.
We'll shoot down your drone.
Keep that up for 8 hours.
The biggest tagline on the drone is what? We'll bring them down.
Bring them down. Well, and so I've seen a lot of devices like that, like drone security, like
Have you?
yeah, and they've been out for a while, but they are illegal.
What?
They're illegal
Really?
because drones are governed by the FAA.
Yeah.
It's a terrorist attack if you take a drone out of the sky.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So all of these products, like in the United States,
US,
they are
yeah.
illegal.
Well,
You
it
cannot
depends.
use
Well,
these.
does it even depend on private property though?
No, it doesn't because it's regulated by the FAA.
owns the sky.
This is
You
why
own
whenever a
the
town
sky.
tries to pass an ordinance like governing drone flights over beaches, the FAA is like, no, the courts are like,
they
it's not
can't.
enforceable.
They can't. There's actually an airspace defined for it. It's airspace. It's Class G. I mean, it's anything below 1,200 feet is available,
Governed by the feds.
Yeah.
So this booth, this crazy, like, I wanted to go back because I was like, oh yeah, because there's a TV screen off to the side, and on this TV screen, it's personal. Okay, so you can, what do they call it? Okay, I forget what they call it, but basically, if we're all walking through a crowd, it can follow you.
Oh, what?
Just you. So it's like it's almost like
The personal stalker.
facial recognition on a drone in a crowd.
Yeah.
Right. So they can fly over a crowd and be like, "Oh, there's Jaime."
Yeah.
I totally did that.
I've always wanted a drone, so why not? I need to go to that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I need to go to
Like,
that.
is it only
That's
facial
creepy.
recognition, or is it like body
it's
recognition?
Yeah, it's person. So on like I saw someone getting a demo, and I was like, oh, I gotta try to figure out how to get that, because then he like tapped on the person, and then this guy like was like ducking behind other people show it.
And the drone was following.
No, the image was following him.
Okay.
Right, so it was a demonstration of the software.
Okay,
Of
yeah.
the
The
software
camera.
that was available on the drone.
DJI has the tracking, and you draw a little square, but it loses you all the time.
Dude,
Yeah.
and listen, speaking of DJI, I mean, I was at their booth. Two things. Well, three. I mean, what is that huge drone that they have? It looks like a frickin' airplane. I mean...
Oh, that big...
It's a cinema drone, probably.
They've got something
I don't know what it
massive.
is.
Yeah, they have like
They use it with
the
the red
commercial
camera.
drones.
Yeah,
like
okay.
for
Marquez.
cinematographers.
That was one. Number two.
Marquez
tell
drone.
me that it's true that their new DJI Osmo is just costing $125.
So the DJI Osmo, the hand stabilizer
Yeah.
for smartphones,
Yeah.
is the new one is $129.
Dude, yes.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
I don't
The
know.
old one's $300.
$300, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I don't
And,
know.
and three people told me yesterday that was the price tag.
I doubt that.
It
I
could
have to
be-
double check.
No, it could be the old one that got discounted to heck.
Which would be great.
would be
I
still
mean, the
great.
Osmo, the old one is good enough. I
Osmo's
mean,
pretty
But,
good.
I mean-
I'm getting a little annoyed at it. It doesn't age well.
oh my
No.
god!
Well,
you-
and it
you-
doesn't work with large devices.
Yeah.
It
doesn't bounce.
It does.
doesn't
It just
bounce.
works. It just works.
That's why
really
they got
bad.
the new one.
But you love the
Yeah.
Ronin. Come
Oh
on.
my
Get-
god!
talk
You guys
about
saw the
that.
Ronin?
No, I didn't see
No.
it.
What's the Ronin?
It's just for a full blown camera.
It's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
so
mirrorless
gimbals?
DSLR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a gimbal for
Yeah.
a full blown camera, and they've got two. One for like mirrorless cameras, one for DSLRs.
Yeah.
But and it's even got feet and everything for you to set it up. So it becomes a monopod if you wanted to. It becomes. It's
That
like,
sounds
The
great.
ultimate-
I'm
think
like,
that-
The
that-
ultimate vlogger
this-
tool.
Indeed.
This is gonna
Dead vlog in
be
life.
what $1,200 or what is this thing? gonna
Hashtag
cost?
worth it.
Well, they're,
Are you making $100,000 vlogging though? That's
I mean, they're
the
not the first on the market with a stabilizer like that for a DSLR. There's
Yeah.
a couple other Chinese brands that
Yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
DJI does it better than everybody
Yeah.
else.
They're more unique than
Yeah,
unique.
well, until it forgets what zero is, and all of a sudden all your clips are
And
in
then it
3
breaks your arm.
degrees. Yeah,
Just slaps and breaks your arm.
Like, wait a second, my head's
Well,
crooked.
but wait a second. It never knows where zero is from the moment you unbox it anyway. So,
So
it's like,
true.
Well, fair.
So
you know.
No, it was good for the first couple shots. Anyway.
I like mine. I use it every so often.
Yeah.
Mine has been
Is
losing
the Spark
buttons.
that you lost the tiny one?
The DJI, yeah, it's the
or
smallest
the
one they
middle
offer.
one that they did?
Tiny
Not the
one.
Mavic, no, but
The
the,
small-
the Spark.
If you want, you can
That's
take
very
my
sad.
Mr. Sparky. It's
Did
okay.
you
I got a
buy it?
replacement.
Go.
It,
Oh, it was a review
actually,
unit that
was
ran away.
D-Brand's review unit.
Thanks,
I shot
D-Brand.
it first. Yeah. Brought to you by D-Brand. Sorry.
Not brought. It's left.
Yeah,
because
okay.
Brought to Mr. Mobile by D-Brand. Lost by Mr. Mobile.
Dispatched by Mr. Mobile.
that's funny that it just fucked off.
Well, to be fair, I was flying very poorly. I was breaking
You're
all
like
the
in the
rules.
city too, right?
I was flying like a total idiot. I don't do that anymore. I fly responsibly now, and what do you know? I haven't
Yeah,
lost
you
it.
go out to like the sea.
Hashtag fly responsibly.
I've had a couple close calls. Like I'm flying it, and I'm like returned to home, lost signal. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like 2 miles away.
Oh
Like
god.
it was within line. No, it was not within line of sight.
I was gonna say, man, you gotta keep that in line of sight, sucker.
and it was like sunset, getting dark, and I'm like, I'm in a small town, but I was trying to get like this football field in the high school. It was like beautiful sunset, and like return home. Crap, where like 30 seconds of like blank screen. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Oh no!
And then it comes back. I'm like,
Dude, no, to be honest, that is the thing. My thing with DJI, like they make incredible hardware. Those drones are
software
engineering
makes them
perfection.
work.
Their app is
it's crashed on me
Say it.
mid-flight so
hot
many times.
garbage.
Yeah.
Yep, say it.
Hot garbage.
Garbage. I mean, it crashes on me regularly, and thankfully the
Incapable?
Spark is like
Yeah.
is actually smart enough to just hover there and wait for me to restart the app.
Yeah.
But boy,
But still, you're like, what are you going to do up there, huh?
yeah, I'm like, just stay there, buddy.
Stay there.
The funny
Coming
thing
for
is,
you.
like, the app will fail, but if you're recording video, it's still recording video,
Yes.
and so it's recording you frantically trying to fix
So it fails gracefully.
That's a good blooper shot.
it. Yeah. Like, oh my god.
At least you don't have to worry about being able to portray how bad it is. I mean,
If you
you'll
have an
actually be
audio
able to show
track,
it.
you're like
The
suddenly
link to the
Winnebago.
camera API is just perfect. Everything else.
S of a B.
Yes.
What is that?
The surprising thing, it's failed more on my Pixel, the app,
Really?
than on a Samsung, an HTC.
See, it crashes on my Note 8, it crashes on Pixel, it crashes on everything.
For me, it's only
I
crashed
feel
on
so
my
outclassed
Pixel.
right now. I've never used a drone.
Yeah, I guess
it's just hilarious when yesterday the guy was like, "But do you have any experience flying drones?" And I'm like, "No, I've flown airplanes. Does that help?" The guy's like,
So let's see what else we got here on this list. I want to add something really quickly. I went to the FLIR booth, the thermal imaging folks, and I saw some cool stuff there. That's like prototypey. They had a pair of glasses, like clearly for like industrial or workman type glasses, safety glasses, and they had like a thing that looked like Google Glass on it, made by some company whose name I completely forgot. But it basically had a FLIR thermal camera on it, and it did the Google Glass thing of showing you the thermal image, superimposed, whatever you pointed at. And it's really small, and I managed to get, if you go on my Twitter feed right now, you'll see I managed to take a photo from inside the lens, and it looks really great with a Pixel, of course, which is the best phone ever made in the entire planet of smartphones with cameras.
This project brought to you by Google.
And I just want to say, and then the other one they showed was they showed a Panasonic Toughbook tablet, or Tough Pad, I guess it's called, a small one, like iPad mini size, Windows 10. And it had built-in FLIR imaging, and it was glorious. Like rugged, droppable, water-resistant, step on it, break it, doesn't break.
So kind of for the
FLIR.
workforce construction site.
Yeah, and it had like a barcode scanner, it had like a stereo camera on the back, it had like... I was just like in
all
nerd
the
heaven.
toys.
Yeah.
So it's like the most extreme form.
Just go to my
We have to send it to Adam Dowd.
Yeah,
We have to send it to Adam Dowd to
even
prove
though
it.
he's
to prove it.
let's do it. We'll gift it to him.
You did get a good shot.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah, you
Look at how
damn.
focused it is and everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put
The
Twitter
first time
link over
I
it.
ever saw FLIR was maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, and it was at a CTIA, and I was just like hanging out with the guys, and they had the camera pointed out at the crowd, and then this older woman farted. You could see it. And we were standing there, and we all couldn't believe it.
How did that look?
It was like a puff of air directly from her rear.
For a review, someone should do that, but also
Yes.
pee their pants, and you can see.
Bet you never thought this is the way the podcast would go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. I'm in. Let's go.
You got the right
no, but I
crowd.
think it's interesting because it kind of makes you wonder: should I fart in public? Because there's probably some security camera with FLIR, and they're laughing at me. Those security guards with their donuts.
It's a FLIR-enabled drone that follows you around.
The FLIR people are farting behind the camera, so you got that covered.
Boy. Speaking of other things that were cool, Michael, do you want to talk? I think you were the one who wanted to talk about this.
The only one.
The Planet Gemini PDA. You did a video on this.
I
Go to
did.
I was
Mr.
just
Mobile's
there.
YouTube channel. Check it out.
Yeah.
I was just there.
So what do you think?
So what's interesting about this thing is that it's not a smartphone replacement, even though it could be, but they're very clearly not marketing as one. Like, it is much more like a laptop that stumbled its way into a shrinking machine.
Well,
right?
you were a friend of the
tiny-
Clie.
Right, but it's not like Clie in that it is literally a Sony Tablet P, eyeglass-shaped thing that splits along the longitudinal axis. You open it up, and then there's this keyboard inside that's not a BlackBerry keyboard. It's not a MacBook keyboard. It's like a 1998 IBM
Chick-lit keyboard.
Chick-lit keyboard, yeah.
And it's not ugly. I'm saying it like it's ugly or something. It's not. It's really pretty. It photographs well.
Mushy.
And then you lay your fingers on it, and you're like, wait.
Yeah.
Why is the space bar not why do I have to mash these keys?
Yeah, you gotta.
Directional force.
So I was like, and okay, at CES we're looking at pre-production stuff, right?
Right.
So I'm like, hey, dude, sir, rather,
Older gentleman, sir.
how close is this to production? He was basically like, these are from the production set, and I was like, oh no, because I love the idea of a modern day PDA. I don't think a lot of people would buy them. I think it would skew toward an older demo, but there isn't probably a market for it. But you've got to nail that keyboard, and I really, really hope that he was wrong. and that the ones we were using.
If that's
are
the
not fine.
selling point, it has to be perfect.
You've got to be
nail
right
it.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have what? They have a Wi-Fi version. They have a 4G version. The screen is really nice.
Dual
it runs
boot Linux.
Android. Dual boots and Linux.
Dual boots
Right.
and Linux.
It's not that
Yeah.
expensive. It's $299 for the Wi-Fi, $399 for the 4G. And you can get a camera. You pay $50, put a camera on it. So then it'll replace. Oh, and you can make voice calls.
And because of you, I went and spent 45 minutes
Because of you.
playing with it.
Yeah.
So I went there. I think that you can get the keyboard if you try. I question your dedication.
Really?
Yes.
So you
I spent
came
20
away
minutes.
from it and you were like, you could write
After
like, what?
45 minutes of like people coming and talking to me at the table and being like, "Don't take it back, I'm not done."
Uh-huh.
Right? So
Yeah.
I was like,
She's like writing her review on it already.
writing a review on it. All these people came up and kept on chatting, and I'm like, "Don't take it away. I still haven't finished filming." And so, like, by the end of it, I still couldn't figure out how to open the stupid music video. But, I was the space bar is the hardest, right?
Yeah.
But the keys, once you kind of get that, so it took me maybe like. I'd say like 500 or 600 words. Like
Wow,
it
you
wasn't.
were
Yeah,
dedicated.
no, yeah, because like people
She
would
wrote
talk
her
to me.
hands-on
Wrote my
part.
hands on
Yeah,
there.
right there, you shot it.
Because like people came and chatted, and I just kept on practicing.
See,
That's
but
right.
that's really cool because that's what I mean. The people who have ordered this, and by the way, it's like one of the most popular Indiegogo projects of 2017.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
like it's 230% funded.
That's the kind of effort they would put in. That's 45
exactly. They
minutes.
buy it, and then they're like, "Well, all right, now I'm going to write everything on this for,
Who else,
for 2
though?
days until I'm used
So
to this keyboard."
is it
Yeah.
running Android?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
runs Android, and then you can dual boot
And
it
it's
to Linux.
basically like there's another very successful crowdfunded project. Is that Windows 10 super
GPD
tiny
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it like that, but cheaper and jankier, or is it as good?
No,
I
I think
it's
the hardware
nice.
feels
I think
really
it's nicer.
feels
Yeah.
good.
Nicer, yes.
Yeah.
Nicer.
I haven't played
Wow.
with the GPD one.
Me neither,
Yeah,
but
I
I
kinda
imagine
want
it's
to, though.
nicer.
Just a thought feeling.
Thought, yeah.
So like
Here's the
the
thing, like-
keyboard works really well when you set it down on
Yeah.
a table. It's top heavy if you're holding it in your hands and
Yeah.
you're trying to do it with your thumb. So just to keep that in mind, like it's
Right.
Yeah.
you have to put it down and use
But
it as a laptop.
It's meant to be a little laptop.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
if you're
it's
in
got
the
the-
bus and you're
Yeah.
pulling
Alright,
it out,
yeah.
and
So it's like the original Windows CE PDA is pretty
Yeah.
much at the
Kind
moment.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Right.
So do you know how I figured out how to type on it? When the guy was showing me how to type on it, I'm like, oh, he types like a grandpa. Two fingers.
fingers.
Two fingers.
Right in.
Maybe four.
Uh-huh.
You remember typing
Right.
tutor right there. And you're
Yeah,
like, oh.
yeah. So I was like, oh. So he's kind of like
Yeah.
tapping with his fingers, maybe occasionally the thumb.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
So
there's
like
not enough room
Because
for
there's
all
not
your
enough
fingers,
room.
yeah.
But then like when I saw him like peck away at the keyboard, I was like, oh, it'd be like my grandpa typing. And then I like
That's how my dad
I
did.
completely altered my style.
Okay.
Right. And then I was like, oh, this works. It's not so bad.
I press
I can
shift a lot.
hear-
I can't do that.
I can hear
Yeah.
the normal people being like, but why am I going to go to that effort, right? Why not buy like a $400 laptop like we were talking about before and just do that? But here's my thing. I'm always on a plane. I'm always on a train. And every single time the guy in front of you reclines the seat, and that's fine.
you have no room.
But you have no room for a big laptop. This
Economy
thing would
plus, my
be
friend.
perfect.
Don't you take the cafe car?
no, but for
Yeah,
me,
no.
Economy
I
plus
just
my
want
car.
a landscape slider back.
Ah.
Like
No, I don't.
I love
You want
that.
a Triv?
Even
with
I want the G3,
Oh, like
like
the
G2.
HTC's one.
Yeah,
yeah.
HTC's
I
one.
don't. Listen,
I love them.
I thought it was
them.
that.
No.
What was that? Slap.
I'm still feeling
kick.
P1.
Kick
though.
the sidekick.
The sidekick.
Side-
So that was cool.
Yeah,
it's cool, but even
Love
when those
the sidekick.
keyboards existed, I never used them.
Yeah, because your thumbs have to travel.
It was
so
too much
far.
travel.
I loved
fast
it.
on
I
that.
loved it.
Give me a
I could.
BlackBerry Key One.
No, I never owned a BlackBerry.
I always
so
wondered
it
why
never
nobody
worked
came
for me.
up with like something where it was a slider, but then you don't want such a Apple keyboard, and so just put a D-pad on the left and something on the right,
A
and
numeric keyboard.
or something. No,
trackpad.
it's just
T9 in the most obnoxious form.
my biggest problem with using phones for gaming is not having keys to play with.
Word. Yes.
So if somebody would come up with a slide-out keyboard, that in the middle would be the QWERTY, and then on the sides it would have like a control, like a D-pad that could be used for gaming, and then the other one buttons.
There was a
I would
Sony
love
one with Windows Mobile back in the day that was built by HTC that had that.
that. No, it was an Android one. I have it, the Xperia Play. It was shitty.
I have a question. I have a question that's not on the list. Probably has anybody seen since we're talking about keyboards? Has anybody seen the Moto Mod with the QWERTY keyboard?
No, I didn't get
I did. I have to give a disclaimer. It was one of my clients when they were working on this. So,
and not anymore.
Not anymore. But it's fine. I'm just saying, I just need to be a disclaimer that if we talk about it, it was one of my clients. I helped them with a lot of their strategy around this product because I kind of know what you guys would all want, right?
And then Sean's going to be here to provide the safe harbor statement.
And then so Sean Hollister of CNET, was kind of like the guy that I knew would be really into it, and the only thing I couldn't get them to do, at least on this first gen, is the staggered keys, which I think really need to happen.
Oh, right.
But it's got the backlight, and it's also a little thicker than we wanted. But I think they had so many issues getting the Moto Mod connector, the pins, and everything to fit in the right space. So it's a little bulkier than I expected it to be, and not staggered. But I think they're working on it. Also, if you played with them, these are 4th gen prototypes. They're already on 5th gen. So I don't know why they didn't bring those, but... anyway,
how many generations was
cool. I don't remember the price, but it was crowdfunded.
It was like $299 or something.
No, it's not that much. It's just
probably
a
like
keyboard.
$199.
I was thinking $99.
So did you like it, Mr. Mobile?
I didn't play with it. I haven't seen. I went up to go try and do it, and
it's at the Lenovo
I know.
booth, I think.
I know exactly where it is.
Well, speaking of keyboard,
speaking of which, where can I find the Gemini thing?
Oh, that was at
Eureka Park.
It's at Eureka Park?
Yeah, they're in Sands. Yeah, I can give you the booth number.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But that was the thing, though. You guys talked about backlights, and the Gemini doesn't have a backlight.
No.
Do not understand that decision. They said they wanted higher quality keycaps. I'm like, cool, but I want to type in the dark, though.
I want Jaime to talk about his most loved keyboard of CES, and they're not even at CES, right? We talked about it with them today, right?
Oh, the EV.
Yep.
Oh.
So they want us to do a review on the product. They sent one and Adam Lane did our text review, but they would like a video, and I was like, okay, sure. I love the Surface form factor. But I got the chance to see it today for the first time, and I was like, wait a second. So you're telling me that you pretty much did everything that the Surface should be?
Yeah.
Really?
You literally created a computer that is absolutely everything that the Surface should have always been. And then you also came up with a keyboard that looks almost identical to it. Oh, and you can also unsnap it and use it wirelessly. It also has that functionality.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But it's got all the ports that we wanted. It's got all the specs that we wanted. There are no fans. There's a Core i7 variant with 16 gigs of RAM, 2 USB ports, out of which one of them is Thunderbolt 3, 2 USB-A ports, a pen. I'm like...
I just wanted to say that the keyboard is also backlit, and it also works when it's wireless.
And it changes colors.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. What's wrong with it?
Yeah. Nothing.
There's nothing.
How much is it?
Nothing.
$2,000.
My kidney.
No, it's
It's really affordable.
No, wait a second.
Full spec is
Wait. So base level is $959.
$959.
And we're talking about an M3 with everything, but they're thinking about ditching the M3 because it's pointless. Yeah, the price tag between that and the i5 is just insignificant, and they're not doing fans anyways. And so, you look at their whole profile, it's just a product. I just wish the keyboard came in like red or blue or something like that. But in absolutely everything else, I'm like, you realize that this is, daily driver potential for me. I need a Surface for work. I actually rely on pen input for my scripts. But the difference is I could actually edit a video on this thing. I mean, it's powerful enough. I was very impressed.
Yeah. Max spec i7, which is the dual core, but 1 terabyte.
16 gigs of RAM,
16 gigs
expandable storage.
$18.99.
512 gigabytes. 512 gigabytes solid state drive.
They were offering
numbers.
Yes, all the numbers. Resolution of display.
Oh, wait a second.
2880, 1920.
So it's an sharp IXO display, just like on a Razer.
Yeah.
It looks gorgeous.
Full disclosure, I bought one myself, i5, but not related to Pocketnow.
Just to be clear.
Oh,
this is not here at the show, right?
It's in the Intel booth.
It's in
the Intel booth because so they had a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
Raised nearly $3 million. Yeah. And you talk to these guys, and these guys are very passionate people. They're young. They could tell you.
Aren't they Finnish?
Finland,
Yeah,
they're
they're from
Finnish,
Finland.
Finland company.
And they could pinpoint like absolutely
Got a
how
slick website.
and how they figured it out,
Just
how they
the same.
added the fingerprint scanner to the button, to the power button, just about everything. Oh, and the display has no reflection as well. I'm like, holy crap!
They
It's a
launched
magical unicorn.
They launched it at Computex, and I went to
Yeah.
look for it at the Microsoft booth. It's there. It's there. I walked around. I couldn't find it because I'm like. So I actually don't have a video. I was like, oh,
So this is actually a good segue because Windows 10, the MIIX, MIIX 6Y with a bunch of you.
Yeah.
For the reveal, the first two products that were revealed was 835 still, not 45 yet. And of course we saw then an attachable floppy keyboard is what I like to call them, form factor.
I love the HP.
And then, of course, this Lenovo is also a floppy keyboard detachable tablet. It's a good start, and I understand that we're actually waiting for probably Computex and Snapdragon 845. The thing that's interesting to me is that when I looked around at how Lenovo was positioned laptop, that these things are going to be tablet derivatives, and it's pissing me off. It looks like you guys all seen a ZenBook, the super slick, super thin. I want a laptop running Windows 10. It doesn't have to have a touchscreen, but I want it with Snapdragon, even thinner and lighter than the Asus ZenBook.
Agreed.
Give me that. And I don't think we're going to we throw away the touchscreen because everything is. I'm like,
I'm okay
Well,
with
but here's
retaining
the thing for Chromebooks as well, because you can get a nice Chromebook.
True.
But it's super expensive. So I think the manufacturers are afraid of pissing off Microsoft by when they can do that for Windows. There are devices for so they can do it.
I loaded MacBook when I bought it 2 years ago. I don't care. It's a work thing. I don't care. I'll pay for it. So for me, Snapdragon brings that to me in Windows 10. And Windows 10 is the only OS that's full-fledged enough for me to actually work on.
Things that they were showing off, like 20 hours of battery life. I'm not awake for 20 hours unless I'm playing. So
It's nice for flights.
I like, for a flight to China, that's great. But
It's nice for CES.
Yes.
You don't know when you're going to plug in.
so
next.
I like there is your regular form factor, but then I would love for somebody to experiment with this like really thin, crazy computer that will weigh, because you can't fit a larger battery in that. I don't care. I want it to be really thin and light.
Convertible.
Yeah.
Because I think the hinge design is awesome.
Yes.
And I don't have all time. I'm sorry. But
Really
I think
thin.
it really is. It's so thin, it's so
Really
light, it
comfortable.
runs really long. But here's the thing. The yoga book last year, remember that yoga book?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing,
The
so
Android
imagine Windows 10 bezel-less and you put like a fingerprint reader and now it's tiny. You throw it in your bag, you're done. You can work anywhere. You can edit video anywhere.
None of these manufacturers seem to want to create that. I was asking at Lenovo the same thing. Why are you using the same old brands? Why does every manufacturer seem to want to hide these behind? Like, I don't. Not that I'm saying MIIX 630 is not memorable. Hey, sure I am.
In a negative way, memorable? Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yes, of course.
Sure. Lenovo, to its credit, was the only one to actually answer me, and their answer was hilarious. It was like, well, we haven't done, it's, the 630. We haven't done a even numbered 6 before.
Really?
I was like, you guys are my favorite.
So-
Thank you. That's the best answer I'm going to get, huh? Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think it'll come. It's an unproven category as of right now. So I think they're just taking their pinky toe and stepping in, and like, we're not trying to make anybody mad, and we're not trying to make something incredible. If people buy this, we'll make a second one.
Right.
But is it because I question this sometimes? We're all content producers with a very specific need for my
the average
devices.
consumer does not do what we do. They surf surf
how
Facebook.
So how can we criticize them for not building us our dream machine? Because there's probably 5,000 people who do this job.
Because we're so relatable,
But we're so influential.
It's so
Nicole.
true. We're so influential. It's true.
Microsoft has been dealing with that. I mean, they've been wanting. I mean, there's a program where they reached out to us particularly because they actually want to start changing the thing where they notice press events and all they see are Apple logos being lit during the press events by all the press. That's all we use. And why? Because these computers actually address some of the true needs of creators, regardless if we're such a small niche.
Yeah, touch bar. That's my number one.
Oh my God! Can we please have a MacBook without touch bar that's more powerful?
Please.
That's all I want.
Can we please have a 2012 MacBook?
No.
Can we just have the retro edition?
2015 Pro
See,
again.
is what
Retro edition.
no,
I'm willing to go all USB-C. And speaking of all USB-C, the segue has been made.
I want to make the touch bar because the only thing that's
you
good
rant
for
about the touch bar some more.
the only
Go
thing
for it.
that's good for it is going back and forth, scrubbing between
It's not
Instagram videos.
It's not good.
Instagram videos.
Why are you watching Instagram videos on your
computer?
It's horrible, but that's the
what your
only
phone
thing.
is for.
That's the only thing it's for.
Look, I think for me the biggest. I mean, my MacBook is the original, not the slightly faster revised version, and it's I struggle. I mean, more than 5 tabs, I can't really use it, and I do basic video editing on it. Thank God it's not that bad on iMovie. Especially the new version of iMovie is really optimized. For
It's
these
really
machines.
optimized.
It's incredible. I render faster with this with my Elgato stick when I used to have an Elgato stick, which is incredible. And yet it's less powerful than when I use an Elgato stick on the old version of iMovie on my MacBook Air, which was a faster computer. Anyway, I want a MacBook Air. MacBook 13, like MacBook Pro 13, I want the high-end version without the touch bar and the fingerprint reader, though.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we'll know that's going to go away and they're going to put Face ID in all the Macs, right?
I want. Can somebody please, Apple, it's about time for a quad-core 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Yeah,
Please,
that's
just because I've been always wanting to move back to 13 inches. I hate carrying that behemoth.
It's a monster.
Of the 15-inch computer, and I can't because I need quad-core performance for the amount of video that I do.
Yeah.
It's just night and day when you hit that render button. It's like, shoot, I can't,
Yeah. So I want to talk about the XPS 13 real quick. All USB-C all the time. What do you guys think? I think it was just hot because of the white and gold. It was gold. Somehow that combo really works, and I'm really fascinated by the fiber carton. It's not carbon fiber; it's glass fiber weave that they custom designed. That where the white is embedded in it, so it doesn't get dirty, and they have a nano coating on top of that, so it doesn't stain. I just thought it was really cool.
Is it just as soft as the previous XPS 13?
Apparently.
I love that feel.
the feel is a little bit different. It has a different feel than the
previous
one. Yeah, it's a little bit smoother.
Huh? Oh, it's smoother.
Yeah,
it was already pretty smooth. It was
it's smoother as in like glossier.
Oh, okay.
A glossier finish.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not the soft touch
I didn't
feel
get to touch it, so I don't know.
So the verdict's out. You guys, nobody played with it?
I did not.
I
touched it for a minute. It's the same. We got the new color option with the white.
Mm-hmm.
My complaint is the camera's still at the bottom looking at
Oh,
your nose.
God.
Oh, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And so, like, you redesigned the thing, you're calling it new, and then you stick they put the camera in the middle now, at least, but it's still at the bottom.
It's still
It's
bad.
still at the bottom. It's bad.
I mean,
It's like I need a manicure every time I want to make like a freaking video call. It's
Hey,
like,
can you check my nose? Like, you got something up there?
But like the thing is, even if there's these major things wrong with it, it's still going to be my number one recommendation for laptop for anyone to buy.
Yeah, and I own
so
a Dell.
I'm not overly excited about it. It's just the price point for the design, for the durability.
the design is awesome.
You just can't beat it. Like I've unfortunately stopped recommending Lenovo's because after 1 year, everyone I know they just die.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So like I start to look at like when you recommend something and you're not going to recommend an Apple, you have to
You go with the XPS 13.
Yeah, because you need to look your friend in the eye in 2 years.
That's why I'm bringing it up. I think it is one of the most well-sorted Windows 10 PCs you can buy. Because you have to look at all the angles, not just the good design, but it has to be durable.
Yeah.
It has to be, grow potentially with you for a couple of years or more. I keep my Macs for a long time, most of them 5 years or so, and this one probably not because it's a little underpowered, but. I just bought a brand new iMac for the holidays. I was like, tax deductions for 2017 for my business. But the reality is I haven't set it up yet, but I can't wait because I'm running on an old Mac Mini and it's painful. But let's talk about one before I let you outro each of you very briefly because we really need to get out of here in the next 4 minutes. I wanted to ask you, I just mentioned really quickly, Alcatel had some phones. We're going to see more at Mobile World Congress. We have collectively here decided that we have no comment.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good. And now let's talk. They can't say I haven't talked about the Alcatel phones. Okay.
It's on the production
Nicole,
list.
tell us where people can find you online.
You can go to mobilegeeks.com or mobilegeeks.de and Nicole_Scooter.
Wonderful. Jules?
I am at Point Jules, also on Instagram, where I just make photos. Juice Farcicles. Farcical is like obscenely weird, but whatever. And then there's an S at the end. And then, of course, Pocketnow.
Of course. Michael?
Yeah, I'm at the Mr. Mobile pretty much everywhere. THEMRMOBILE, especially Instagram, where my producer Jules is kicking out pretty awesome
Not the
stuff.
same Jules, though.
FYI.
No.
My producer Justice. Did I
was
say my
gonna
producer
say-
Jules?
Yes,
I'm gonna
you
go-
did.
Say your producer Jules.
Dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
like,
That was a very awkward
Throwback.
Sorry, everybody.
Throwback,
It's a really
man.
tiring show.
Nick.
Nick, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Nick M. Gray, or youtube.com/hightechtraveler.
Really cool videos you've been doing. That U11 Plus. You own the U11
I
Plus.
killed the
space.
U11 Plus.
It was
Thanks to
awesome.
Nicole here, who sent it to me from Taiwan.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Personal delivery
Don't we
service.
collaborate? I
Yeah.
can't believe it. They think we're like evil enemies.
We hate each other.
Oh. Jaime, where can people find you?
Okay, youtube.com/pocketnow, and then Jaime_Rivera on Twitter, Jaime Rivera on Instagram.
Hashtag PN Weekly, too. Just
There we go.
get there.
So, you guys know where to find me. I'm at TNKGRL on Twitter, Tankgirl without the vowels. My YouTube channel is just Miriam Jouar, my full name with a Y, youtube.com/Miriam Jouar. And, of course, please subscribe to the podcast, mobiletechpodcast.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Pocket Casts, and the RSS feed link is at that URL if you go to it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this was enjoyable. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Any final words?
No, this was great.
All right.
Congratulations.
Until next year.
You did it.
Yay, clap, clap, clap. All right, let's wrap it up.
This has been the Mobile Tech Podcast with Tank Girl, proudly presented by worldpodcasts.com. You can visit us online at mobiletechpodcast.com.